Thank you for tuning in to tonight's game. Your game is coming up next. But here's some information from the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
6 easy ways to become an MVP. And by MVP, we mean most valuable parent. Like all of us, the parents of high school athletes tend to protect their children from adversity, or they overly involve themselves by advocating for their success. But when they do, they're negating the value of participating in high school sports. Among other lessons, high school sports teach teenagers to take nothing for granted, how to overcome obstacles, and that an extraordinary commitment of time and effort is required in order to reach goals and experience achievement. High school sports also encourage independence and self-sufficiency, attributes that are needed to be successful in life. It's natural for parents to love their children, and it's important to support them in as many ways as possible. With this in mind, here are 6 easy ways that you can be the MVP of your child's high school team. Number 1, attend your children's games as often as possible. Nothing demonstrates interest and involvement more than being there. And be sure to invite Grandma and Grandpa to come along with you. Number 2, cheer for all the kids on the team, not just your own. Here's a test for you. Do you know all the players on your child's team? Could you say hello to them by their first name? Embracing the entire team is a great way to show that your interest is sincere. Number 3, be a resource for your child's team. Does a teammate need help with transportation? Is the team trying to raise money for new uniforms? Is someone needed to organize a pizza party before the tournament starts? Maybe you can help. Number 4, try not to criticize the coach or the officials in front of your child. Hey, you're human, and there may be times when you need to vent, but be careful when and to whom you do it. Criticizing the coaching staff undermines its credibility and tends to put your child in the middle. And games are seldom won or lost because of an official's call. Remember, coaches and officials are objective. Most parents are not. Empower your child to talk with the coach about concerns. Everybody wants more playing time, and understandably so. But encourage your children to have that conversation with their coaches instead of you doing it for them. Giving teenagers the confidence and conviction to speak up for themselves is one of the greatest benefits of participating in high school sports. Number 6, focus on the life lessons your children are learning, not on win-loss records or how many points they're scoring. According to the NC2A, only about 2% of all high school athletes win a sports scholarship, and the average value of it is less than $11,000. But every child will benefit from the lessons they've learned as a result of participating in high school sports for the rest of their lives. It's difficult being the parent of a high school athlete. There's far more emotion and social pressure involved than is ideal. But if you follow these 6 pointers, not only will your children love and respect you, but so will their teammates and coaches. And you might even be named MVP. Thank you for your support of high school athletics in Indiana. Stay tuned now. The Indiana SRN game is next. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
Last name?
Lewis, Lewis.
Casey, what's your last name? Pierce, right? Whose camera? Sarah? Hellion. Welcome to Week 5 coverage of the 2020 Indianapolis High School Athletic Association football season. Shane Ryder alongside my partner Jarrett Lewis in the Indiana SRN studios located on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Casey Pierce is tonight's producer, and it's homecoming for the Covenant Christian Warriors, who have been simply dominant, to say the least, this season. Take a look at their 4 scores. They have left no doubt in all 4 matchups so far this season. A 56-14 win over Jennings County in Week 1, 68-6. That was a high for the offense from a point standpoint in Week 2. That came against Rushville. Then in Week 3, a 48-0 blanking of Crispus Attucks, and then a 57-6 win last week against Indianapolis, Washington. This team is clicking, firing on all cylinders, and Jarrett, they are a fun team to watch.
Yeah, they certainly are. And just looking down the line of the skill players that they have, from quarterback to receivers and then some guys on the defensive side, this is a loaded team as far as seniors go. So you have homecoming tonight against a Tindley team that has struggled so far this season. But you're right on the fact that these Warriors, they're a fun team to watch, and we're going to see a lot of points on the board most likely. 56 is what the Warriors are averaging so far this season and only giving up 6.5 points.
Yeah, we can talk about the offense all we want, but the defense has certainly held their own as well. This is homecoming again for Covenant Christian. They will graduate 12 seniors from this year's 2020 roster. They start 7 offensively, 7 defensively. Their secondary, you look all the way across the board. Both corners, the free safety and the strong safety are seniors. Look at every single skill position offensively. Senior-led offensively. When you have that kind of experience at those positions, that just pays huge dividends down the road.
Yeah, and we'll start with the quarterback right now, Austin Frazier, a senior. He hasn't had very many pass attempts so far on this season, just 48, but the completion percentage is looking good. He's 30 of 48 for just under 650 yards and taking care of the football as well. 12 touchdowns in comparison to just 1 interception, so he's doing the right thing when he's back there in the pocket. And then down you have 2 good running backs for the Warriors, Michael Wilson, who's just under 400 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, and then Gage Coffey, 30 carries for 225 yards and 4 touchdowns. So really those 3 guys have accumulated a lot of these points for the Warriors, and Frazier does a nice job of passing the football out to plenty of guys, plenty of receivers that he can choose to go to. So we're going to look to see these Warriors try to hit that 50 mark again like they've done 3 out of 4 times this season.
You take a look at their opponent on the far sideline. This game played at Zionsville Middle School West here on this beautiful Friday night. We finally have some fall weather as well. The humidity for the most part is gone. We've got some crisp and cool weather, but sunny skies and what should be a beautiful homecoming for Covenant Christian. Their opponent, the Indianapolis Tindley Tigers, this evening. They come in with a 1-2 record, played a couple of weeks, then had a game in Week 3 get canceled. So they won in Week 1 against Edinburgh by a 26-20 to final, but then against Newcastle blanked 41-0. That came on a Saturday, the final Saturday at the end of the month of August, and then into 2 weeks later, second Saturday in September, a 20-6 loss a week ago against Twin Lakes out of Monticello, Indiana. So they come in at 1-2, not scoring a ton of points after that 26-point output in Week 1, but the firepower on this Covenant Christian offense, again, goes to their senior quarterback in Austin Frazier. Last year, you just talked about, Jarrett, the way he's protecting the football. 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. A year ago, 15 touchdowns in 11 games. He had 9 picks. So you take care of the football right there. You find your targets in both Adrian Terry and B.J. Lomax, and then you got a leading rusher in Gage Coffey in the backfield coming back. You get a transfer in out of Indianapolis Howe in Micah Wilson, who is also a senior. He's got 8 touchdowns on the season. This is a kid they didn't even have carrying the football a year ago.
Right now, Covenant Christian is looking like an absolute offensive powerhouse, and that's why They've started the season 4-0, and that's why they find themselves ranked in the top 5 in Class 1A. And so Melvin Graham, the head coach at Tindley, he's going to have his hands full tonight trying to contain the many weapons that the Warriors do produce. And it'll be a tough matchup for him.
It certainly will. We've got the coin toss going on right now at midfield. We're going to take a quick break and come back with your Indiana SRN top 5. The Sagarin ratings, the Week 5 rankings. Jared just touched on it. Covenant Christian, 4-0 out of the gate. They have snuck into the top 5 in Class 1A. We'll have the full rankings, all 6 classes, right after this. You're listening to Warriors Football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Hey, it's Keith Myers from Indiana Sports Radio Network. Well, thank you that you're watching the game tonight on Indiana SRN. If you would like to know more information about Indiana SRN, send me an email, coach@indianasrn.org. As vice president of this company, we hope that you sit back and enjoy the game. It's Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
Welcome back to Zionsville Middle School West, where we've got homecoming for the Covenant Christian Warriors tonight, looking to start the 2020 campaign a perfect 5-0. They have absolutely routed every single opponent so far this season, and they'll look to do the same tonight against the visiting Tindley Tigers. We briefed the top 5 for each class for the Sagarin ratings here in Week 5, but we're going to go through them in their entirety now. We'll start at the lowest level where the Covenant Christian Warriors find themselves. In Class 1A, Lutheran is the top-ranked team. South Adams is number 2. Park Heritage 3. Adams Central 4. And then your Covenant Christian Warriors come in at number 5. Jump up to Class 2A. Andrean is number 1. Heritage Christian number 2. Eastside comes in at number 3. South Vermilion number 4. And Fort Wayne Lures is the number 5 team in Class 2A. We bump up to number 3A. That is Bishop Chittard. No surprise there. They come in at the top-ranked team in that class overall. Fort Wayne Concordia, they are number 2. Mishawaka Marion is number 3. West Lafayette, number 4. And Brebeuf Jesuit is number 5 in that class. Now we get to the big dogs. Up in Class 4A, Mount Vernon out of Fortville just to our east. They are the top-ranked team in Class 4A. Mooresville is number 2. East Central 3rd, Northridge 4, and Hobart is into the top 5 at number 5. Up to Class 5A, Cathedral is number 1. Fort Wayne Dwenger, number 2. New Palestine is number 3. Fort Wayne North is number 4 in Class 5A, and Decatur Central comes in at 5th. Again, these are the Week 5 Sagarin ratings brought to you by Indiana SRN. And then up in Class 6A, Center Grove, number 1. North Central 2. Carroll out of Fort Wayne is number 3, Brownsburg number 4, and Hamilton Southeastern, another nearby high school just to the northeast of our Indiana SRN studios. They come in at number 5. So we are approaching kickoff right now between Covenant Christian and Tindley. Again, the Warriors come in at 4-0. The Tindley Tigers with a 1-2 record and a senior-led offense and defense. Really, you look anywhere on the field, there's a lot of senior players on this Warriors roster who have not only are they seniors, they leave an impact when they step foot on the field.
Right, and we mentioned it earlier. It started with the quarterback in Austin Frazier. Then you have 2 running backs in the backfield with them that are going to get a majority of the touches tonight in Wilson and Coffey. And then plenty of seniors to spread the ball around to. Jackson Bro and Brian Lomax, Adrian Terry. Those 3 guys, along with Alex Coleman, those 4 are all seniors, all guys who have a touchdown also on the year and will sure to touch the ball at some point tonight.
So it looks like we're going to get a first glance at this Covenant Christian offense to start Week 5 as the kickoff is a high end-over-end kick. It's going to hop down around the 20-yard line. It's caught by number – let me try and figure out a number here. I think that's 19. That is number 19. That's Adrian Terry with the kickoff return. It's a short return, so Covenant Christian will get things going around their own 20-yard line. They'll spot it right at the 25 for Covenant Christian as you see Austin Frazier jog out to the huddle as he takes the field with 6 other seniors on this roster. The 4 who are not seniors are all on the offensive line. We'll go through all 11 starters here in a moment. Frazier will be in shotgun, a 3-receiver set, and a back to his left. Goes with a hard count out of the gate, and it's a draw up the middle and a short gain for number 23, Gage Coffey. That's just a yard on first down. So 2nd down and 9 coming up. Going through all 11 starters for Covenant Christian. Jarrett has already touched on the quarterback and a few of the skill position players. But again, Austin Frazier, 2nd-year starter, 15 touchdowns, threw for over 1,300 yards a year ago. He's got a 12-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio this year. The H-back is senior Trey Flatt, the tailback, who gets the nod tonight, Gage Coffey, who just had that first down carry. And then Jackson Brew, B.J. Lomax, and Adrian Terry, all senior receivers, as that ball was tipped, intended for number 15, B.J. Lomax. And now you've got 3rd down and long upcoming for Covenant Christian. To go across the line, their only senior on the line is their left tackle, number 52, Jerron McDuffie, comes in at 5'10", $195. The left guard is a sophomore, Eli Carlson, at 6'3", 245. The center is the big boy. He's a junior, and Ethan Sparks. He comes in at 6'5", 280 pounds. The right guard, Cole Thomas, he's a sophomore, and then Wyatt Bowman on the right tackle spot at 5'8" and $175. So the smallest of the bunch, he's a sophomore as well. So 3rd down and long, not even a minute into the first quarter. Frazier back to pass. He's going to look right, fire that way, and it's over the head of his intended receiver. That was intended for number 10, Jackson Brew, but it falls incomplete. So something that I personally have not seen this season, and Covenant Christian fans are not accustomed to as well. A 3-and-out out of the gate for the Warriors offense and into a punt formation here on their first series.
Yeah, we talked about it, Shane, how such a high-powered offense is what we're going to see, a fast offense from the Warriors. But props to the Tindley's defense, able to get a stop on first down, the first 2 runs, 2nd down as well, and then the 3rd down pass falls incomplete, and now we got an interesting punt situation.
Now you've got a low snap and a scramble situation for the punter, Jackson Brew. He had to sidestep one of the guys coming off the edge to avoid either being tackled or having his punt blocked. So a nice little juke move by Brew, the punter. But it is a short kick and great field position for the Tindley Tigers out of the gate.
And not the first possession that you want if you're Covenant, especially you got a lot of seniors, you got a senior-led offense and now a defense on your homecoming night. You want to be able to put together a first drive, but right now you want to see your defense step up, hopefully get the ball back to their offense, and then capitalize on that missed opportunity, first possession of the game.
We have raved about this Covenant Christian offense for most of the broadcast so far, but the defense, they deserve a ton of credit as well. You brought it up in the pregame. They are giving up just 6.5 points per game. They are a tough defense to even move the football, but we've got a completion on first down. That heads out to number 6, Donovan Williams, a senior for the Tindley Tigers, and they'll go with a hurry up. They're not going to huddle up as they've got a senior quarterback as well. We'll run through their starters. Antonio Robinson is the senior quarterback for the Tindley Tigers. Got a senior and a sophomore listed as the starting running backs. Number 1, Cameron Jennings is the senior, and then Marcus Greathouse, the sophomore. There's a little bubble screen nearly picked off the hands of number 18, Marcus Greathouse. We just said his name, and he nearly put that one into the lap of a Warriors defender. If Covenant Christian comes up with that football, they are headed the opposite direction for 6.
Robinson probably wants that one back, but another interesting thing is first 2 plays for Tindley have been passing plays, and we knew coming into this game that they were more of a running team. They have 90 carries on the season as opposed to just 48 pass attempts from Robinson. So we'll see if they put the ball in the air, and it looks like they will.
They're going through the air again. That's over the middle, and I think that ball is caught. That's going to move the sticks for the Tindley Tigers. So going against the grain here on their first offensive possession. You brought up how much they run the football, but 3 consecutive passes out of the gate, and it results in a first down on third down. So now the ball down to the 31, maybe the 32-yard line for the Tigers, who are in business early. Robinson looks over to his far sideline. Led by first-year head coach Melvin Graham are the Tindley Tigers. He's back to pass for a 4th time, and now we've got a whistle before the snap, and it's going to be a false start against the Tigers. So back them up 5 yards, and we'll have first down and 15 upcoming. But to go through the rest of their starters, just one upperclassman among their receiving corps, at least among the 11 starters. That's Donovan Williams on the outside. And then a couple of sophomores, Jaden Pinkston and Davion Catlett. And then across the board on the offensive line, not a single senior. Starting at left tackle spot, Alex Smith Jr., 6'2", 260 pounds. He's a sophomore. Wellis Gupton, a freshman, 6'3", 320 is their left guard. Center is junior Joe Phillips. Shotgun snap goes to Robinson. They finally hand one off this time to Cameron Jennings, but nothing doing up the middle, and another loss of yardage there, and we've got second down and even longer now as they back it up a yard to 2nd and 16.
And that false start really kind of killed the offense. It was the receiver on the far side. I believe it was Williams who just checked back in, got a little bit of a head start on first down, and now the very first run play is sniffed out by the Warriors defense, and here's a 2nd and long where we'll probably see Robinson try to put the ball in the air again.
Well, we saw 4 straight passes from Robinson to start this offensive series. He's in a shotgun formation. He's going to hand it off up the middle. Once again, that goes to Cameron Jennings, but Covenant Christian is all over it. That was number 12, Brad Nardi, into the backfield. Or make that sophomore Tony Flatt. A couple of sophomore linebackers for Covenant Christian, and now third down and about 18 coming up for the Tigers. The other 2 starters on this offensive line for the Tindley Tigers, Byron Stanfield is the right guard. He's a sophomore, and then Joseph Glenn, a junior at right tackle. And we'll run through this Covenant Christian defense, who has held up after allowing a first down to Tindley. Nowhere near field goal range right now. They need at least 10 to even think about it. Robinson is back to pass. He fires down near the 10-yard line, but no Tindley Tiger receiver in the vicinity. And so after a first down in which they threw 3 straight times, they have a false start, then consecutive runs that both lose yardage, and then a deep heave down the field that falls by the wayside. So now you've got 4th down and 18, and kind of in no man's land right now. Do you just heave one downfield? Nobody deep for Covenant Christian. They'll play this straight up. 3 receivers set for the Tigers. Sometimes you see the quarterback take a little deeper drop in the shotgun and just have a little pooch kick down the field, but I'm not sure that's what the Tindley Tigers are going for right now. They're just thinking we'll straight up go for it. Now they're going to think things over. Head coach Melvin Graham calls a timeout. So Covenant Christian, after allowing a first down, after a 3-and-out offensively to start tonight's ball game, coming up big defensively, and they've got a 4th down and 18. So we're going to take a timeout with the Tindley Tigers as well. We'll be right back here on Indiana SRN. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Our family has been very happy working with Wallflower Pictures,
because they make sure that I get the acting skills that I need in this industry and the education that I need.
Wallflower Pictures supports UV's journey in the industry. They're very passionate about his growth, and they're very professional and attentive to our needs.
And I truly believe in the projects I've worked on, like For the Boys and The Walk.
We love working with Wallflower Pictures.
Follow Indiana SRN on YouTube. Hit the red button. Subscribe to our Indiana SRN YouTube channel, and you can watch every single game, not live, but we'll have the recording of tonight's ball game and many, many more. There are hundreds of games, not just football. You name a sport, Indiana SRN probably covers it. And there are games on there that date back years and years ago. And for senior night, or for homecoming rather, for this Covenant Christian team, I'm sure some of these kids will tune into this game years down the road as they hang on to those high school memories. So a second offensive possession for Covenant Christian was an incompletion on the 4th and 18, and the handoff goes to Gage Coffey on first down, who gets run out of bounds on the far sideline. Looks like a pickup of 5 yards, so 2nd down and 5 upcoming in the second offensive series for Covenant Christian.
Good looking play on the handoff, sweep outside for Coffey, and one of the things I noticed on the first possession for Covenant Christian was the line and how the 3 guys in the middle, so center and both guards, are awfully big, but you look at that left tackle and right tackle, those guys are the smallest on the line, so you got to be thinking Covenant is probably going to try to pound that inside with their center and those 2 guards being the biggest.
Frazier in shotgun. Coffey a little pass protection out of the backfield. That one's thrown over the middle, and it's caught by B.J. Lomax. It's a foot race towards the goal line, and he's going to win that race. A touchdown for Covenant Christian. We talked about their speed in the pregame. These kids can fly, and B.J. Lomax showed the Jets there.
Well, a great pass by Frazier. He kind of put it in this little window. There was a whole lot of traffic in the area where he threw it, but Lomax was there, one of the seniors. And then it was just a foot race from that point, like you said, Shane, and wondering why that Tindley defender didn't try to dive and go after the legs of Lomax, as I'm betting he would have him taken down right now, and Covenant Christian would be looking at just another play and a first down, but could have been a touchdown-saving tackle.
Jackson Brew on for the PAT. Good snap. The hold is down. The kick is up. High end-over-end kick, and it's through the upright. So Covenant Christian, that quick strike offense, on full display in their second offensive series. A 5-yard handoff to Gage Coffey out of the gate to get them to their own 40. Then 60 yards on a skinny post to B.J. Lomax, the senior, with his 6th touchdown already on the campaign. And Covenant Christian leads it midway through the first quarter, 7-0. You're watching Warriors football powered by Indiana SRN.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group as an intern. I interned for 3 years before going on full-time staff here. What I love most about Morales Group is that big family aspect. I come from a big family in Mexico, and since the company is continuously growing, I feel like there's always a new member of the family that I get to know.
We're willing to give. We're willing to serve others, and we're not expecting something in return.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
Jackson Brew to kick things away for Covenant Christian. Just a 2-play scoring drive that spanned 65 yards downfield, 60 of them coming through the air to B.J. Lomax. Probably caught that ball about 20, 25 yards downfield and let his legs do the rest as he won a foot race to the goal line. Kickoff goes out to number 10, and now we've got one going the other way, as that's Antonio Robinson, the starting quarterback, with a nice return. So they put their best athlete at that quarterback position, and he gets that return all the way out to midfield, as they're going to spot that thing at the 50-yard line. So a 45-yard return for Antonio Robinson, who will now head back out on the field to call some plays and try and drive this Tindley Tigers offense downfield and answer that Warriors score a moment ago. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, 4 receivers set for Tindley. One receiver goes in motion, and that handoff goes up the middle. It's a short gain of a yard as that handoff goes to number 18, Marcus Greathouse. Right now you've got Cameron Jennings as the quarterback on field for the Tindley Tigers. So whatever happened to Robinson on that kickoff return, you saw him leave the field with a slight limp. You can see him walking over there on the far sideline. That is a little hobbled up right now. So it's Greathouse in shotgun. Hands things off, and the linebacking corps for Covenant Christian all over it once again. Tony Flatt into the backfield. So a gain of 1 on first down, then a loss of about 4 yards on second down, and just like that, another long yardage situation here on third down for the Tigers.
Yeah, well, Shane, we've loved talking about these seniors for Covenant so far early on in this game, but there's 2 sophomores, and we've mentioned them once or twice already, and Brad Nardi and Tony Flatt working that linebacker position. Those 2 sophomores are leading this Covenant defense.
Greathouse rolls to his right, finds an open receiver. He's going to be short of the sticks. But now that puts the Tindley Tigers into a situation where they might consider going for it. It's a gain of 9 on the pass.
And now the decision might be a little bit more interesting that you don't have Antonio Robinson out there on the field. And one thing you don't see every day is a quarterback returning kicks, but he is the athlete on this team. The team goes through him.
Well, they're going to rotate another quarterback in now. And this was the situation where the person receiving the snap was a little bit deeper. You could see the way he was setting up. He was getting ready to step into that thing and kick it downfield.
Yeah,
that was
a lot
Donovan
of teams.
Williams there.
Right, and a lot of teams, when they're in this interesting situation where they might be around midfield, they might be slightly over into the opposing team's side of the field. They might make it look like they're going to run an offensive play, and then the quarterback just takes a few steps back, catches the football, a little pooch punt. And we could be seeing the same thing here, although the running back behind the quarterback is 10 yards behind the ball.
Yep, this is the pooch punt situation. Nobody back deep for Covenant Christian. They hope it rolls into the end zone, and it does just that. So the Warriors catch a break, and that ball will come out to the 20-yard line. A good boot from senior Donovan Williams, but a little bit too much on that kick. Didn't get the friendly bounce to at least check up there around the 10-yard line. So the Warriors will take the field now for their third offensive series and a 7-0 cushion and a lead in their pocket. So first down and 10 from the 20-yard line for Austin Frazier. Back out with this senior-led offense. He's got a back to either side, 2 receivers to his right, and a 3-receiver formation. He'll take the snap and hand things off to Gage Coffey. He's going to try the right side on a sweep, lower the shoulder, and get run out of bounds by number 1, Cameron Jennings. It's a pickup of 5 yards on first down, just like the last scoring drive for Covenant Christian. He had 5 on first down, then the final 60 came through the air to B.J. Lomax.
So if the trend continues, we should see a passing play coming up for Covenant, and
it should go the distance.
Should go all the way. But a nice play on first down. If you're Sean Lyons of the Warriors, you are liking getting 5 yards on first down with Coffey.
Coffey to the left of Austin Frazier. Got Jackson Brew to the bottom of your screen on the left. Second down and 5. We're down to 4 minutes here in the first quarter. It's going to be a swing pass out to the left, and it's dropped a little bit behind his intended receiver, Gage Coffey. But as wide open as Coffey was, you just got to haul that thing in and then get upfield.
Yeah, you sure do. He had a lot of room to work with on Frazier's left side. And you got to think, even the linebacker that came over to go after Coffey, you like the chances of Coffey going one-on-one with a Tindley backer. So a missed opportunity there on the drop pass. Coffey may have been looking upfield already before he hauled that pass in.
So third down and 5 now for Covenant Christian. This Tindley Tigers defense has just 3 senior starters. Robinson, Jennings, And then the safety, Jeremy Sharp, they're going to take a deep shot downfield intended for Lomax, and that ball is dropped. Jaden Pinkston, the sophomore, nearly had an interception, but it falls to the grass incomplete. And another 3 and out for Covenant Christian. So how about that? 2 out of 3 offensive series. They fail to pick up a first down. That is, gosh, if I could go back through all 4 games they've played this year, not sure how many times they've had to punt the football, but we've got a second situation where Jackson Brew has been asked to punt.
And good pressure applied from Tindley. It looks like they got to Frazier in the backfield as he had his eyes downfield, and Pinkston with a missed opportunity there. You got to think with that interception, he's probably getting a good return after the interception, and he's probably in Covenant territory, but now you still set up a 4th down, so you're most likely going to get this football back, just not in as good of territory as you could have been in.
So Brew's going to put his right leg into it. A high punt, carries out to the 50, takes a Warriors bounce, and trickles all the way down inside the 35-yard line where it dies at the 34. So a nice boot by Jackson Brew. Again, I didn't know off the top of my head how many times he had punted this year. He's got 2 here in the first quarter. 4 games into the season, he had punted the ball 2 times. That's no surprise with the amount of points that Covenant Christian could put up. But nevertheless, just 2 punts for Jackson Brew. He's already matched that just 8 minutes into this ball game.
That's a surprising statistic. 4 games, you have 2 punts, and now in this first quarter alone, 2 punts for a very high-scoring Covenant offense.
It was in week 2 against Rushville where it was a 7-0 game after a quarter for Covenant Christian. They came out in the second quarter. I'm not sure what former head coach Dan Giedel told his team, but they scored 41 points in that second quarter to win in a ball game 68-6. But again, they led 48-0 at half after just a 7-0 ball game 12 minutes in. That pass was intended for Jaden Pinkston, who nearly had the pick to cap off that last Covenant Christian offensive series. Now he drops a ball from Antonio Robinson. So 2nd down and 10 upcoming. I think the ball spotted at the 35-yard line. It is 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left of Robinson. And now we've got a false start. There's a little movement by Cameron Jennings in the backfield. Is going to back up the Tindley Tigers 5 yards. So after that first offensive series where they had 3 passes out of the gate, picked up a first down, we have seen them do nothing but move backwards ever since.
Right, and that first possession, that first set of downs that they had looked quite promising, and Antonio Robinson throwing the ball through the air, they had a lot of success with that. And then when they started to run the football, Covenant has sniffed out the run plays very well, and then 2 false starts now at least for Tindley that have made the drive a little bit more difficult.
He's going to roll to his right this time is Robinson. He's going to bow things out, try and extend the play as long as he can, but he runs out of real estate here on the near sideline and just has to flip it into the Warriors sideline. So now 3rd down and 15 coming up for Tindley. Looks like they called maybe an illegal man downfield, but they declined the play anyway. And that's going to bring up 3rd down. Covenant Christian will decline that penalty. Robinson with a little limp in his step. Going to head back towards midfield, or towards the center of the field, rather.
And that's another thing we'll try to keep our eye on is if Robinson is playing at 100%. We did see him come out after that kickoff return, and he missed at least 3 plays. But now he's back out there at quarterback. We'll see if he's still the same Robinson or if he's walking around gingerly.
It's a 5-receiver formation. 2 to the left, 3 to the right. Robinson bobbles the snap, now just heaves it downfield, and it's about 7 yards too far of his intended receiver. That one was in the direction of number 21, which we don't have as a number here on this Tindley Tigers roster, but 21 was in the slot there on the left of Robinson. And now we're probably into a punt situation, 4th and 15 from their own 30. Now Jennings steps up to the right of Robinson. He'll take the snap and just hit a low end-over-end kick that takes a nice Tindley Tigers bounce all the way down inside the 30-yard line. It dies at the 26. So Tindley, after a 3-and-out, gets a nice punt to flip the field position and make things a little bit more difficult for Covenant Christian, who uncharacteristically have only had one scoring drive so far out of 3 chances. Clock stops at 3:15. Warriors defense has held their own. They've allowed just 1 first down so far. But their offense has been hit or miss so far tonight. Homecoming at Zionsville Middle School West. Frazier takes the snap, a high snap. It goes off to Coffey, who lowers the shoulder and carries a couple of Tindley Tigers defenders with him. And he picks up 8 on first down.
Coffey's been a nice first down go-to guy so far for Covenant. He's picking up 5 yards, 6 yards, and now 8 yards here. It's a good way to start a drive. And now if you're Covenant, you want to keep this drive going. We've seen 2 drives out of 3 now that have ended in punts. So you want to see not just a bunch of handoffs to Coffey because he's the only one making things work, but Frazier and these receivers got to be getting things done also in the passing game.
Adrian Terry, a senior receiver, to the bottom of your screen. Frazier in shotgun. Back to pass, 3-step drop, fires over the middle, just a bit too tall for his intended receiver. That was headed in the direction of number 11, Brad Nardi, but it falls incomplete, and now another 3rd down coming up. This time it's a little bit shorter at 3rd down and 2. So maybe interim head coach Sean Lyons thinking he could take a shot here, as Gage Coffey has had some success on the ground.
Yeah, pretty standard play for if you're a 2nd and short, you might try and take a shot, and especially if you're an offense like this, if you have a quarterback like Frazier. But now a 3rd and short situation might see another give to Coffey, try to get a new set of downs.
3 receiver formation, Lomax and Terry to the left of Frazier. He's in shotgun, a back to his right. He'll hand it off to that back. It's Gage Coffey, slips a tackle. Now he's up the middle, and he's on it's a foot race. He's going to win that one. Number 2 cannot catch him. And Gage Coffey goes the distance all the way downfield, and 2 huge scoring plays for Covenant Christian. Jaden Pinkston tried to catch him, and Coffey showed his own wheels out of the backfield and picks up the 2nd touchdown of the night for the Warriors, who double up their lead, and Jackson Brew now on for a PAT.
It's that explosive playmaking ability that we knew we were going to see a couple times, if not a good amount, from this Covenant offense. First, we saw it with Lomax, the 60-yard touchdown reception, and now a run here from Coffey that was 60-plus yards.
Kick by Brew is up and through, and that makes it 14-0 Covenant Christian. A scoring play of over 60 yards for Gage Coffey. He had 8 yards on first down, had much, much more after that. He goes 57 yards downfield, his 5th touchdown of the season, and the senior into the scoring column tonight for homecoming for the Warriors. We'll take a quick timeout. You're watching Warriors football powered by Indiana SRN.
Make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Nothing but Gage Coffey on that 2nd scoring drive for Covenant Christian, as they now lead by 2 touchdowns. We're still in the first quarter. Shane Ryder alongside my partner Jarrett Lewis. Casey Pierce here in the Indiana SRN studios on the northeast side of Indianapolis. And Tellion Johnson is our cameraman tonight out at Zionsville West Middle School. Had a few technical difficulties before tonight's broadcast, but we were able to get on air before kickoff. And what we've seen through the first 4 weeks of the season, this Warriors offense is high-powered, to say the least. High end-over-end kick, just shy of the 20-yard line, but a short return for Tindley as Tony Flatt wraps up the return man. And a short kickoff return will have the Tigers down around their own 25-yard line.
And I like the idea of the Warriors going with that high short kick, because it allows their kickoff team to get down the field as fast as they can, get to the return man. That way he doesn't build up speed. His blockers in front of him don't create a wall, don't create a hole for him. So good idea on the part of the Warriors.
Let's see what Tindley has in store here as they try and cut into this 2-touchdown deficit. Little bubble pass out to the left. That's Cameron Jennings. Breaks a couple of tackles. He's down the left sideline. He's got some speed and gets wrapped up out of bounds, but not until he's drugged down in Warriors territory. So a big gainer on first down for the Tindley Tigers, and that's their biggest play of the night. Their offense back in business.
Jennings, another one of those athletes, along with Antonio Robinson. Robinson does lead the team in rushing, but Jennings comes in second, and you can also split him out wide. Throw that bubble pass to him. Just get him in space, get him the ball quickly, and let him do the work.
Pickup of 32 on first down. Now the snap is bobbled as Robinson has to fall on it in the backfield. So they move forward but then take a step back, and now they're into a second and long situation. The second first down of the night for Tindley. Second and 13 now for the Tigers. 4 receiver set, 2 to either side. Robinson slips a tackle, now fires deep downfield, but nowhere in the vicinity of a Tigers receiver. Maybe some miscommunication there on the route. Or if it was Robinson feeling the pressure in the backfield and just wanted to heave it deep downfield to get it out of danger.
Yeah, that's been a negative as far as Robinson when he's in the passing game. When he's in that pocket, I feel like when he feels that pressure, he's going to look to try to run immediately. He's not going to try and stay in that pocket as long as he can and keep his eyes downfield. And it looks like Robinson also likes to do a little jump pass, try to maybe a little Patrick Mahomes-esque, trying to get that ball down the field.
Trey Flatt with some heavy pressure on Robinson, and once again, Robinson shows off his strong arm, but 5 or 6 yards too far, that time intended for Cameron Jennings, and it falls incomplete. So they get a gain of 32 on their first offensive play of this drive. Then they go backwards 3 yards and 2 incompletions, and just like that, 4th down and 13 now for Tindley.
Yeah, passes well down the field haven't looked great so far from Tindley. It's the short game that's worked so far, just getting the ball out of Robinson's hands as quick as possible.
This punt goes downfield to Lomax, who has a wall of blockers down the near sideline. Now he's going to slip upfield and stay on this side before he finally gets barreled down, but not until he's inside the Tindley 30-yard line. A massive return for Covenant Christian. B.J. Lomax has taken 1 punt return to the house already this season, and he was a tackle or 2 away from taking that one the distance as well.
Great return by Lomax, and if you're Tindley, you're probably thinking now that you don't want to punt it directly to the returner of Covenant Christian. You're probably going to want to punt it towards the sidelines, maybe try another line drive punt. That's hard to handle if you're a Covenant returner. So that'll be something they try to keep in mind to prevent these big plays happening from the Warriors.
Adrian Terry into the slot as Lomax gets a breather. Alex Coleman is the Z receiver right now in this 3 receiver set, and that pass is over the middle and caught for another long touchdown for Covenant Christian. That one goes 30 yards to number 31, Will Lyons, and Covenant Christian tacks on another 6. They lead it 20-0 over Tindley.
Well, that was an easy read for Frazier, just a little RPO action. It looks like Lyons came from either the slot or the tight end position, and no one picked him up in the secondary from Tindley. And I believe Frazier had Lyons, and he had another receiver well wide open, so possible miscommunication on the secondary for Tindley.
Lyons, a junior. For him, that's his first touchdown of the season. Brew is a perfect 3 for 3 on his PAT kicks tonight. And Covenant Christian, after having to punt 2 out of 3 times on their first 3 offensive possessions, their offense back in business. Consecutive touchdowns, the first Gage Coffee, this one to Will Lyons, and they lead it by 21. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Life comes at you fast, so it's important to have some help along the way.
Ah, my favorite patient. Ah, my favorite patient.
When the dust settles, it doesn't always end as anticipated. Embrace the journey and care for the ones around you.
My favorite patient.
For everything else and every stage in between,
my favorite patient.
Methodist Sports Medicine is here for you.
In future seasons, you can catch every single game as we've got an onside kick attempt, and it gets covered up by Covenant Christian. They do not recover the football, but nice wrap-up tackle there by Gage Coffey on the kickoff coverage unit. But again, hit that red subscribe button to ensure that you do not miss any games on Indiana SRN's YouTube channel. We've got a couple of score updates as well. You want to pop into those, Jarrett?
Yeah, it looks like we got Westfields up on Hamilton Southeastern 7-0. That second quarter just began. They are under 10 minutes to play there. And Carmel tied with Lawrence North at 7 in the second quarter midway. And Heritage Christian is up 21-0 in their game. They scored awfully fast. They're taking off.
So Robinson in shotgun, fakes the handoff, breaks a tackle. Now lowers a stiff arm, but gets ridden out of bounds. And after running about 20 yards on that play, Tony Flatt, sophomore linebacker, a couple of words for Antonio Robinson, who has to settle for just a gain of 1 yard on first down. Covenant Christian was looking to put the nail in the coffin here in the first half as our clock winds down near the end of the first quarter. And I think that is going to be the end of the first quarter. They're going to wait for second down in our next 12-minute period here as it's 21-0 Covenant Christian over Tindley. The Warriors into the top 5 of the Sagarin ratings, looking to improve on that ranking here in week number 5, looking to get to a perfect 5-0 here on homecoming night at Zionsville Middle School West. We'll take a timeout, back with second quarter action. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Hello, my name is Sean Kroll, and I've been a part of the Indiana SRN family for the last 9 years. Last year, we streamed a record 326 sporting events around Central Indiana. All the other guys broadcast basketball and football, but we at Indiana SRN also air volleyball, softball, baseball, and even golf. But we need your help. To continue our mission, please help us by contacting Coach at indianasrn.org. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
Welcome back to Zionsville Middle School West. Covenant Christian with 3 first quarter touchdowns and a 21-0 lead over the visiting Tindley Tigers tonight. Tindley coming into tonight's ball game here in week number 5 with a 1-2 record. They had a 26-20 win in week number 1, but then a loss in week number 2, a game that was canceled in week 3, and then another loss last week to drop them to 1-2. And Covenant Christian a perfect 4-0 this year. 4 routes. And looking to make it a perfect 5 for 5 here on homecoming night. So 2nd down and 9 for Tindley. Robinson is in shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to the right, a back. And that one gets handed off, but I think we've got early movement. And we do, so Covenant Christian will benefit from that Tindley penalty. And we'll have 2nd down and 14 coming up for the visiting Tigers. If you don't follow Indiana SRN on YouTube, we've got an alternative for you. This is breaking news in the Indiana SRN studios, but we've got our own app now, Jarrett. If you want to follow all the action, you can get some notifications. You can watch games live on that app. It's available on iOS tablets and devices right now. So head to your app store and download the Indiana SRN app. That is a nice tackle there by number 27, Alex Coleman. Good little double leg into the backfield, and it's a loss of 3 yards, something we've seen here through this first quarter plus often for Tindley. Is 3rd down and long, Jarrett.
And one of the things I made note of when we put together all this information, all these stats on these two teams, is that Tindley only has 3 tackles for loss on the season. And you look over on the other side, the Covenant defense, they have 35 tackles for losses, and they get one there from Alex Coleman, and he's no stranger to getting in the backfield.
Now another possible punt situation. No, they're going to heave one deep downfield. A jump ball, and it falls incomplete. Jaden Pinkston nearly pulled that one in over 2 Covenant Christian defenders. Robinson with a deep pass downfield. But it falls to the grass incomplete. And now you've got 4th down coming up.
Well, if you're going to go,
Tigers.
And if you're going to go long, Shane, you're probably going to go to Pinkston because he's at 6'3", 195. He's a big body out there, split out wide. Like the arm strength shown by Robinson, trying to get it to his playmaker, let him go up and try to make the play. But 2 defenders there, so hopefully see better decision making as the game goes along from Robinson.
Got a high punt caught by Lomax. Spins out of a tackle. He's down the far sideline. And he's going to take that one out of bounds, but not before he's inside the Tindley Tigers 35. So a punt return of 20-plus yards again for B.J. Lomax. He is a threat to take it the distance anytime he touches the football.
Well, we said it on the last punt from Tindley. You probably don't want to punt it right to Lomax, and the Tigers don't listen. Lomax makes him pay, and he has Covenant set up at the 35-yard line. Another great return by Lomax. What a playmaker he is for the Warriors.
He certainly is. Coming into tonight's ball game, averaging nearly 17 yards per punt return. One of those went 60 yards to the house. And he's got 2 tonight that are well over 20 yards on each return. Frazier in shotgun, a back to each side of him. He'll hand that one off to Gage Coffey. Gets a little help from Will Lyons in the backfield. Tries to push the pile, but not sure Coffey got back to the line of scrimmage. We'll give him a loss of 1 yard there on 1st down. 2nd down and 11 coming up for Covenant Christian.
Good run defense that time by the Tigers. They got some big boys on that defensive line. Paul Carpenter, he's a sophomore. He was leading the way up front. There's a tackle for loss. We mentioned it just a bit ago. Not very many shown for this Tindley defense, but they pick up one there.
Ball spotted at the 35-yard line of Tindley. Terry and Lomax split out to the left of Frazier. Jackson Brew to the bottom of your screen. Will Lyons the up back. Coffey to the right of Frazier. Frazier keeps it himself this time. A little quarterback read. Takes it down the near sideline. And he gets it down to about the 26. I think he's going to be just shy of a Covenant Christian 1st down. We'll see if they move the chains. They do not. So 3rd down and about a half a yard for the Warriors as they look to punch this one in again. Clock stopped at 10 minutes here in the 2nd quarter. Take a look at the Indiana SRN scoreboard after this play. 3 receivers set. Lions to the left, Coffee to the right of Frazier, who's in shotgun. Handoff is going to go to Coffee. He's going to get the first down. I think he got just to the 25-yard line, but
he might be short.
I think he is short. The way that VAR official was walking in, they're going to say he did not get to the 25-yard line. So now 4th down and short coming up. I figured that was about a given for Gage Coffee to pick up that first down, as much success as they have had on the ground so far tonight.
Well, the Tindley defense is stepping up. That front 4 is not letting them get this first down right now. It's 4th down, obvious go-for-it situation for Covenant. We'll see what they come up with here if they keep it simple.
So 4th down and 1, Frazier in shotgun. 2 backs in the set. He's back to pass, fires over the middle. It's caught, and they get the first down. So how about that? They find the senior receiver, Adrian Terry. He beats his man across from him defensively, and they go through the air on 4th and about a half a yard. They just needed a foot or 2, but they pick up 3, maybe 4 yards through the air, and they move the sticks.
Well, what a great play by Austin Frazier. First, trying to get the hard count, try to get Tindley to jump, get an easy 5 yards, free 5 yards, and get the first down. And then just a little RPO with his running back, and he stays patient, finds Terry wide open over the middle.
4 receivers set here for Frazier. He's back to pass again now here on 1st down. He's going to fire it deep into the right corner of the end zone. That ball was caught by Jackson Brew. Did he get a foot down? He did. A touchdown. What a catch by Jackson Brew, who is fired up on that Covenant Christian sideline. And what a catch that was. He's going to go over and grab the tee because he's got to head back out for a PAT attempt.
Well, how about that? Beautiful thrown ball by Frazier first off. Perfectly placed to where only Brew can go get it, and he almost didn't get it. But the effort to dive and try to get that football, come down with it, beautiful catch by Jackson Brew. That's Indiana SRN top 10 worthy.
Yeah, that is a spectacular catch by Jackson Brew. Now the snap comes, but we've got a whistle before the snap. And they'll back it up 5 yards. So a little bit longer PAT attempt now for Jackson Brew, who just had an incredible catch near the back pylon. For Brew this season, that's his 2nd touchdown. Puts a good leg into that one and knocks it through the upright. So it's 28-0 in favor of Covenant Christian. B.J. Lomax had the first scoring touchdown tonight for Covenant Christian. Gage Coffee then waltzed 57 yards downfield into the end zone to make it 14-0. Will Lyons through the air made it 21-0. Now Jackson Brew, the senior, gets into the scoring column for a 2nd time this season. We're about midway through the 2nd quarter, 28-0 Covenant Christian. They lead it over Tindley. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group as an intern. I interned for 3 years before going on full-time staff here. What I love most about Morales Group is that big family aspect. I come from a big family in Mexico, and since the company is continuously growing, I feel like there's always a new member of the family that I get to know.
We're willing to give. We're willing to serve others, and we're not expecting something in return.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
Kickoff for Covenant Christian, and Jackson Brew, I think, carried into the end zone. It's Antonio Robinson who's back standing around his 10-yard line, but they're going to bring it out to, I believe, the 20. And that is where they will spot the football. So I think it was a touchback for Jackson Brew. Shane Ryder alongside my partner Jarrett Lewis in the Indiana SRN studios. Casey Pierce producing tonight's broadcast. And we appreciate you, the viewer and or listener, tuning into tonight's ball game. Covenant Christian has looked the part again tonight, coming in at number 5 in Class 1A in the Sagarin ratings. And looking to continue to ascend up those rankings and keep a perfect season intact. The pass there from Robinson goes through the hands of his intended target, and it falls incomplete. 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Tigers.
Well, that's the game right now that's been working for Tindley, is just Robinson catch and throw, get the ball out of his hands quickly. But he's had a lot of his receivers maybe trying to look to run before they catch. Too many drop passes so far for this Tigers offense. That's something I'm sure Coach Graham is going to want to hit on at halftime.
Well, it's certainly not easy to move the football against this Covenant Christian defense. 7 seniors on that side of the ball, 4 of them in the secondary. You see number 80, Ty Gossel, at the bottom of your screen from his cornerback position. This time it's the defensive line into the backfield with some heavy pressure. That was number 78, Eli Carlson, with the sack. Carlson, just a sophomore, getting a little action on the defensive side of the football. He is a starting offensive lineman for this Warriors football team. He is their starting left guard, but from his defensive tackle spot there into the backfield and dropping Robinson for a big loss. So now 3rd down again, Jarrett. A huge play upcoming for this Tigers offense.
Too many of these that the Tigers have faced.
Robinson back to pass. He's going to fire it down the near sideline, but a yard or two too far for his intended receiver. So another 3 and out for Tindley. That one in the direction of junior Donovan Gilder. And this is an obvious punt situation now for Tindley, who trails it by 4 scores.
Well, that's just one way to kill a drive, is when you have a bobbled snap and then your running back has to pick it up and he's immediately met by 3 Warrior defenders, bringing him down for a huge loss, and then you obvious passing situation, and throwing the ball deep downfield for Tindley has not been successful so far in this game, and that's just a recipe for disaster.
So Robinson in shotgun, but this is a punt formation for Tindley. It's a short punt. Might have got partially blocked. I think it did, as he punted it away from his own 10-yard line, and it gets out across the 35, but a short punt of about 17 yards, because the original sticks were at the 20-yard line. So just a punt of 16 yards as they spotted at the 36. In prime field position for Covenant Christian, who could really put the dagger into the hearts of this Tindley Tigers team. Here, and we're only midway through the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, with another score here, we could see the running clock as soon as the 2nd half starts.
Frazier in shotgun. He hands that one off to Gage Coffey. Gets it down inside the 30-yard line. He's going to be just short, I think, of a 1st down. Give him 9 yards on 1st down for Coffey. One kid we have not seen in the backfield tonight, that's number 2, Micah Wilson, their leading ball carrier this season, both yardage-wise and scoring the football. He had 8 rushing touchdowns coming in. He has not had a carry tonight. Not sure what's up with Micah Wilson. You see number 2 here just out to the left of our score ticker at the bottom of your screen. So whether he's injured, maybe got banged up in practice, whatever it is, we have not seen Micah Wilson on the field tonight.
Averaged 100 yards a game, did Michael Wilson. Coffey has 75 yards average in a game, and right now he's the man to go to.
Frazier fires out to the near sideline. That ball is caught by Adrian Terry, who picks up a 1st down. They'll spot that one right at the 20-yard line, so give him a gain of 6 and another 1st down for Covenant Christian.
Good, simple play call by the Warriors. Tindley defensive backs are playing off more than 5 yards. You just run a little 5-yard hitch to Terry on the near sideline. It's an easy way to get a new set of downs.
3 receivers set. Will Lyons is the H-back right now for Covenant Christian. We've got some pre-snap movement. It's Coffee to the right of Frazier. I think Covenant Christian's going to pick up 5 free yards here. They will, so make it 1st down and 5 as they march it down to the 15.
Looks like Andrew Lash, the junior, right over the right guard. Just getting a little antsy, and that's just something you don't want to do. You don't want to give Covenant these free yards.
Frazier in the Warriors offense trying to punch another one into the end zone. The handoff goes to Coffee. Nothing but daylight. He goes untouched into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown tonight. And Covenant Christian, their offense is busted out after an early slump in tonight's ball game. They lead it by 5 scores now. Again, Coffee with his 2nd touchdown of the night. And he's got 6 on the ground now this season, in addition to 1 through the air. So 7 touchdowns for Gage Coffee. And this offense, they are hard to stop. If you want to stop them through the air, they'll go on the ground. You want to slow them down on the ground? Well, they've got 3 receivers on the outside they can get the football to.
Just too many weapons, too many decisions. If you're Adam Frazier, you could throw the ball in the air to plenty of guys, but you also have the senior Gage Coffee, his 2nd touchdown of the night. Gives the 35-0 lead to the Warriors.
So it's a 20-yard burst for Coffee, and he's approaching the 100-yard mark already this evening. We're midway through the 2nd quarter. All Covenant Christian once again tonight. They lead at 35-0 over Tindley. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Jackson Brew back to boot this one away. Got a strong right leg. We've seen him put one down around the goal line many times this season. That one sails about 7 yards deep into the end zone. Jared, I know this is your first time seeing Covenant Christian this season, but Brew, between his leg, this offense, this defense that doesn't bend. They don't bend. I mean, sometimes you hear the term bend but don't break for a defense. They don't even bend.
Well, what a weapon it is to have Jackson Brew. I mean, we've seen, 5 extra points now. He's 5 for 5 there, but you got to think if Covenant Christian gets into a close game, you might have him out on the field trying to convert a field goal.
Yeah.
If you have a close game, because you're going to have some good matchups coming up, especially in sectional, that's a nice weapon to have. And for a small school, you don't see very many teams that can have a guy like that kicking-wise.
First down here for Tindley. They'll try a bubble pass out to the left. Receiver able to slip a tackle, but not much doing there on first down. I'd say they got back to the line of scrimmage. They did. So it's 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Tindley Tigers.
Looks like Zion Jordan getting the reception there. He's just a freshman for Tindley, and he's made his mark with 2 catches, I believe, in this game. He had 4 coming into it.
Robinson looks over to his sideline for Tindley. He's in shotgun, one back. Standing back behind him, that sophomore Marcus Greathouse. He's back to pass. That ball is picked and dropped. B.J. Lomax saw 6 going the other way, and maybe looked at the pylon or the goal line like he was going the other way for 6 in a pick 6, but instead dropped the football, and nevertheless it's an incomplete pass for Tindley.
Well, that would have been an easy one for Lomax. We've seen too many drop passes on both sides. Both teams have had too many drop passes. Tindley most likely has much more, But if you want to stay in this game, and I know it's a game that's going to be hard to get back into if you're Tindley, you're going to have to help out your quarterback in Robinson.
4-receiver set. This time Robinson loses the snap, able to pick it up. Now he's scrambling for his life. He's back inside the 5 and just gets balled up inside the 5-yard line. So when it rains, it pours for Tindley and their offense. Boy, after that first down, 3 passes out of the gate where they moved the sticks, and outside of that 32-yard completion they had on their 3rd or 4th offensive series, they have gone backwards or stayed at the line of scrimmage far too often tonight, and now you find them punting out of their own end zone.
Well, it's just been the little things that have killed Tindley. It's been the drop passes, which we've mentioned multiple times. It's been a few false start penalties, pushing your offense back, and that also these snaps.
And now
there's
another
a punt
block. It's into the end zone, and that one gets picked up by the punter, who gets driven out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Robinson with a low punt. A hand was on it. That's the 2nd punt block tonight. Or that one was at least the first true block. The other one was a deflection. But regardless, the best field position tonight, to say the least, for Covenant Christian, who are inside the 5-yard line and really looking to pour it on now.
Inside the 5, around the 2 or 3. Looks like we got a timeout now. So we most likely will see 6 or 7 points more put on the board for Covenant Christian. And like you said, Shane, when it rains, it pours. And now it's just a matter of working on the things you need to work on if you're Tindley, keeping your head up, finishing out the game, because you don't want to just mope around and, let time go by and not try to make yourself better. At this point, it's just about working on your basic plays and just trying to make yourself better and finish the game out strong.
Well, as things have snowballed here for Tindley as we approach the 4-minute mark here in the 2nd quarter, what is head coach Melvin Graham telling his team right now? Because it was a 7-0 ball game midway through the 1st quarter. They felt like they were in this thing. All of a sudden, a couple of plays, a few penalties, a couple of blocked punts, and just like that, they're looking up at the scoreboard. We're not even at halftime yet, and Covenant Christian is running away.
He's probably telling his group, look, this has been a real bad quarter, but we still have 4.5 minutes to try to make it the best that we can. So, like I said, it's just about trying to make yourself better, work on the things you need to work on, and maybe tell them, hey, look, you can show what you're made of right here. They have 3 yards to get into the end zone. It's probably going to take, tell your guys that, hey, let's make these boys try to get in the end zone in 4 plays. Let's just not give it to them so easily.
We'll see if Covenant Christian has an answer or if Tindley can come up with a goal line stand. 1st and goal, the handoff goes to Coffey up the middle. He's going to lower the shoulder, and I think he carried a couple of Tindley Tiger defenders into the end zone. He did. So Gage Coffey, his 3rd rushing touchdown tonight. Number 7 on the season, number 8 overall for Coffey. 7 on the ground, 1 through the air. And the senior halfback is feasting tonight against this Tindley Tigers defense.
Pretty easy day at the office if you're Gage Coffey. We might not even see him in the second half. But what a first half that he's put up. 3 rushing touchdowns. One of them was a long one, and then another one, 20 yards. He's been just a little bit of everywhere. He's had 5-yard carries, but he's also had broken some out for some big gains.
High snap. It's brought down by Frazier, and Brew knocks it through the uprights for a 6th time tonight. So a 1-play scoring drive that time after a block punt out of the Tindley end zone. Antonio Robinson got driven out of bounds on the far sideline, and Covenant Christian capitalized. A 3-yard rushing touchdown for Gage Coffey. Again, his 3rd touchdown already tonight. It's all Warriors for a 5th consecutive week here in the 2020 IHSAA campaign. We're going to take a timeout. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Hello, My name is Sean Kroll, and I've been a part of the Indiana SRN family for the last 9 years. Last year, we streamed a record 326 sporting events around Central Indiana. All the other guys broadcast basketball and football, but we at Indiana SRN also air volleyball, softball, baseball, and even golf. But we need your help. To continue our mission, please help us by contacting Coach at indianasrn.org. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
Jackson Brews ready to kick this one away. He's put a few into the end zone tonight. That one another high end over end kick. I don't think that one's going to carry down there. It will not. It's caught at the 10-yard line, out across the 20 and wrapped up at the 25-yard line. So decent field position for Tindley as we're down to 3:31 left in quarter number 2. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Lewis Cass leads Northwestern. They are at the halftime mark right now. The Kings over the Tigers 15-zip. Southwood up 21-0 over Wabash. The Knights lead the Apaches. Shamrocks out of Westfield. They're up on Hamilton Southeastern and the Royals 7-3. That game is at the break as well. 6-6 score between Western and Hamilton Heights. The Panthers taking on the Huskies this evening. Centerville up big at halftime, 42-7 as they lead the Tri-Titans. And then the Delphi Oracles lead Tri-Central. They are at 7-0 at halftime as well. We'll have the complete out-of-town scoreboard for you during our halftime show. As the first down carry is up the middle, and it's a loss of 2 yards there for Cameron Jennings. And they give him a favorable spot, and they're going to mark it back at the original line of scrimmage. So second down and 10 coming up for Tindley.
Well, here's a drive for Tindley that they can try to finish out the first half on a high note. We'll see if Robinson and Jennings can get more involved. We haven't called Jennings' name in quite some time.
Back to passes, Robinson, a little slant over the middle, but that ball's dropped. And that is something we have seen quite a bit tonight for this Tindley offense. Even when they have a receiver open, on the receiving side, they're not hauling it in.
Well, it's been the short game where Robinson has been able to find guys open. Just simple 1 or 2 step drop, get the ball out of your hands. And again, it's another jump pass, this time by Davion Catlett. Those are not things that are going to help out Robinson. You want his receivers to be catching those balls, giving him confidence.
It's a high snap. Robinson corrals it, now rolls far to his right. Throws back across his body. And B.J. Lomax, nearly another interception. That went through his hands. Receiver was number 21, but the deflection by Lomax caused that one to fall to the grass, and it's another 3-and-out for Tindley. You can just kind of see it in their body language right now for Tindley as they march back towards midfield that they're thinking, we've got another punt right now.
And we have another half to play when it's all said and done.
So you've got a timeout for Tindley right now. Let's take one with them. 2:45, clock stopped here in quarter number 2. Covenant Christian up 6 scores, 42-zip. They lead it over Tindley. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Warriors football powered by Indiana SRN.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Parents, do you like free food? Hut, hut, hike it on over to Prodigy Burger and Bar, where Monday is family night and kids eat free. Every day you can find daily specials featuring craft burgers, tacos, wings, and more. Prodigy is now playing the NFL Sunday Ticket on more than 25 TVs, so you won't miss a second of your favorite teams. Prodigy also caters, hosts private events, as well as dine and donates. Celebrate your school spirit with us at Prodigy Burger and Bar. More than just burgers, located in Clay Terrace in Carmel.
Watch any Indiana SRN game. Past broadcasts available on YouTube. Hit that red subscribe button. Make sure you follow the Indiana SRN YouTube channel. As we've got a low punt there by Antonio Robinson. Used his left leg there. As it was almost well, let's see if they're going to fall for the fake. No? Okay, we'll roll to the left and just kick it downfield.
Well, how about that?
What do you call that? Is that a dual threat kicker?
He's
because he's been kicking with his right all night.
Oh my goodness! Well, that's some play. He's got a guy draped all over him, able to get it off with your left foot. That's some play by Robinson, because if he takes that sack, Covenant has another drive where they're inside the 30, and now they're on the opposite side of the field. So good on Antonio Robinson, able to get that down with his left leg.
I mean, Robinson was punting from his 20, so add that up quick. That's a 37-yard punt with a leg that he doesn't normally kick with.
What is
not
that?
Bad.
Is that ambidextrous? Is that what you call
that?
that?
Yeah, ambidextrous, yeah. Ambidextrous with his legs. Maybe he plays soccer in the spring. Frazier back to pass, finds an open receiver, juggled and now hauled in. That's Alex Coleman, now slips a tackle, and he's going to switch fields. Lowers a stiff arm, and I think he's got a first down as he's across the 50-yard line. Alex Coleman nearly dropped that football, but then once he had it corralled and heading towards this near sideline, hit the pivot, hit a little juke button, and headed back towards midfield. So he gets it down to the 46 of Tindley. Clock ticks down to the 2-minute mark. First catch tonight for Coleman. Give him 11 yards on the reception. 3-receiver formation. Frazier is back to pass. He's going to heave it deep downfield this time. It's caught by I think that's Adrian Terry, number 19. We'll see as he gets up and hands the ball to the head referee. That's Adrian Terry, the senior, deep downfield all the way to the 13-yard line. And a gain of 33 yards through the air. When Frazier wants to air it out, he can.
Well, and he did a nice job of that. It was a well-thrown ball by Frazier. He stood in the pocket well, kept his eyes downfield, and just waited for that route from Terry to develop. Perfectly thrown ball, only to where Terry could get it. A nice big play made by the Warriors.
Coleman and Terry with both catches on this drive, just 2 plays in. Covenant Christian looking to add on another touchdown before halftime. Frazier back to pass. He's going towards Terry over the middle and a bit too tall for his target. Almost a collision between Terry and Pinkston. Pinkston was ready to lower the boom there if Terry thought about hauling that one in, but it falls to the grass incomplete. So now 2nd down and 10 coming up. Clock stops at 1:08.
It looked like it could have been a pretty dangerous collision if Pinkston does end up going after Terry. Pinkston looked like he could have came up with the football. If he's got his eyes on that ball, he might come out with the interception.
So now Coleman and Terry flip sides of this formation. They're flanked to the right of Frazier. 2nd down and 10. Down to a minute left in the second quarter. That ball is caught this time by Adrian Terry for a touchdown. That's his first score of the night. And he's another senior into the scoring column for Covenant Christian, Austin Frazier. How about the senior signal caller for Covenant Christian? 4 touchdowns through the air tonight to 4 different targets. B.J. Lomax, Will Lyons, Jackson Brew, and now Adrian Terry.
Well, we hit on it in the pregame. The weapons that Frazier has, and most of them are seniors, and they're making a huge statement here on their homecoming night. 4 different receivers hauling a pass from the senior, Austin Frazier.
So Frazier, who had 15 touchdowns a year ago, just threw for his 16th touchdown pass tonight, and we are in week number 5 of the 2020 season. Little fire drill for Covenant Christian. When the things are going right, boy, are they going right. Covenant Christian with a fire drill, a bobbled snap by Frazier. He didn't panic, just picked up the football, rolled out to his right, and found an open target in what was supposed to be just a field goal PAT attempt. They pick up a 2-point conversion on the scramble drill. So now they're to an even 50. And Covenant Christian, what a first half it's been for the Warriors.
Yeah, how about a 50 burger? That's something right there. Perfectly executed fire drill as well.
Yeah, and you think that is something that is maybe the first time they've ever had that happen. That's something that teams practice. As a special teams coach, you know every snap is not going to be perfect, especially at this level. Whether it's the snap not being great or the holder, just inexperience from that position as well. It's not something you don't see teams. You brought up Jackson Brew and how well he can kick the football. You don't see kids that can kick the ball the way he can, especially in Class 1A. Usually that's reserved for the big schools where you've got some numbers and kids that are specialized in those areas of the program. But Jackson Brew, he's a receiver. He's a defensive back. And, oh, by the way, he does kickoffs and handles the field goals as well.
Well, it looks like everybody on this team does a little bit of everything. And we've called guys' numbers that they're on the offensive side, they're on the defensive side, they're in the special teams game. And it's led by these seniors. A lot of these seniors are the ones that are getting things done, whether it's offense, defense. The kicking game from Brew has been excellent. And then that fire drill definitely looked like Covenant Christian had practiced it during their week, and they did it to perfection.
Yeah, we don't have our crowd mic tonight, but wonder if you'd be able to hear maybe whatever the call is, just to let your eligible receivers know to, hey, peel out, don't block anymore. We've got a ball on the ground. We need to get this thing in the air and try and pick up 2 points, and they did that to perfection there as the kickoff is brought out to about the 25. We've got a Covenant Christian Warrior holding up the football. But that play is going to take us into the break, and what a first half it was for Covenant Christian. 4 touchdowns through the air for Austin Frazier to 4 different targets. And how about Gage Coffey, the senior halfback? He had 11 rushing touchdowns a year ago, came in tonight's ball game with 4. He nearly matched that in the first 24 minutes of the game. Gage Coffey with 3 touchdowns on the ground tonight.
Well, yeah, how about that? I mean, the senior-led team from Covenant Christian with Austin Frazier, 4 touchdowns through the air. He's looked tremendous, and he stayed patient. There's been pass attempts where he's gotten the ball out quick and he's been accurate, but also able to stay patient, wait for these routes to develop and get those completions in. And then Gage Coffey has had a lot of holes opened up through that offensive line. He's looked tremendous. And ultimately, we kind of predicted this. We expected this high-powered offense to show out tonight on homecoming, and the Warriors have done just that.
The offense, defense, special teams, all 3 phases for Covenant Christian. They've clicked pretty much every week so far this season. Week number 5 of their 2020 campaign, no different. We're 2 quarters into tonight's ball game. Covenant Christian with a 50-burger in the first half. The Warriors lead the visiting Tindley Tigers 50-0 on homecoming night. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with some more halftime coverage. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
This is a place of becoming. I grew up spiritually here. This place is a gem of Christian community, not just for churches and not just for schools, but for Christians coming together and dialoguing and truly learning and truly engaging culture.
This idea of the relationship with a student and the relationship with God, it's the most important thing in what we do in every single subject that we teach.
We want Covenant to be a place where they are challenged in their faith here in a safe environment where questions are welcome but we ultimately have faith in the gospel.
The model of Covenant is that all teachers are Bible teachers, that all the teachers are mentors and spiritual leaders. And we've always hired teachers that care immensely about their students, and not just about their intellectual life, but about their spiritual life.
The kind of education that Covenant is providing, both intellectual but also deeply spiritual, practical, theology that changes the way that students live. The gospel is the message that changes everything.
We're not just trying to master the truths, but to receive them that we would be changed.
Do you want to have a thinking faith? Do you want to have a curious faith? How about a charitable faith? We need students who understand their faith, and not who just understand it intellectually, but who have a zeal, a personal zeal for Jesus.
We are pursuing concrete answers to everything always, to be right, but to live in right relationship. Not just be right, but do rightly.
Our model of education, our pursuit of learning, is not just about preparing students to serve, though it is that. It's not just preparing students for rigorous academic endeavors, which we hopefully do that as well. But we know that at the heart of it all, and the thing that matters most to us, is that their lives are changed.
Piper Group Warehouse has a strong commitment to their clients as their logistics provider. If you would like to discover how you can improve your service levels while lowering your overall cost, Piper Logistics Group can help. Call Greg Piper today at 317-396-3916. Piper Logistics Group.
Your home and office make up a big part of your world. Sometimes trying to manage it all on your own can make you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. And when the weight of the world is on your shoulders, you need a strong back or two to come to your rescue and haul your stress away. You need the College Hunks. Whether it's time to clear some space for new memories, to reinvent the room around you, or to simply pack up and move into a fresh new beginning, you can count on the Hunks to bear your burden so you don't have to. Let us move you today.
I think the best thing that our ministry offers is that when the women come in and they are pregnant and they've reached our scan dates, which are 6 weeks, 4 days to 14 weeks, we're able to image them with ultrasound.
Seeing the image on the screen and hearing a heartbeat clarifies that it is truly life and not just a clump of cells.
You can see babies sucking their thumbs, you can see them running their hands over their head.
It shows them what God is doing on the inside that they don't feel or don't even think is real, but they see a real image of a real baby on the screen.
It just breaks my heart when a woman, no matter what her circumstances are, that she decides to end that intrauterine pregnancy, that she decides that she's better to go on her own without that baby.
How do you begin to tell a story of over 16,000 students and 2,500 employees in 23 different buildings, each with their own unique story, with their own backgrounds and talents and goals, and yet we're still one community. We're one big, inclusive, welcoming, respectful family.
We have a lot of opportunities and choices academically and internship-wise to give our students exposure. We always try to give our students the upper hand and get ahead for those that are ready for that.
The incredible choices beginning in the early learning centers and continuing through high school create opportunities and pathways to graduation. In Lawrence Township, every student's needs, abilities, and future plans are considered.
I'm honored to be able to say that I attended Lawrence Township schools, but I also had 2 of my children go through Lawrence Township schools. I really want to impress upon how great of an education you can get in Lawrence Township schools, how many different programs are offered, everything from our McKinsey Career Center to our STEM program, starting at the elementary with our immersion program, which is one of the top immersion programs in the nation.
We give kids opportunities to belong to multiple groups, be involved in multiple activities, whether it's sports or music or even a club, that meet the needs of all of our kids.
There's no doubt that test scores are important, but teaching our young people the value of cross-cultural collaboration, empathy, and problem solving and critical thinking, that's equally important.
There are just so many different kinds of people that you can learn from and learn with. I am able to consider so many different perspectives and lenses of ways to look at things.
Anyone has a doubt about what our students are able to accomplish, be able to look and see where our students go to attend college and what jobs that they hold and the impact that they have out in the community as well, and it will be very telling.
I'm proud to say I've been in Lawrence for 64 years, and I certainly wouldn't be where I'm at right now without my background in Lawrence Township schools.
One of the most important pieces of Lawrence Township is really the opportunity and access for all kids. And I think that is our diversity and the belonging that I think every student feels in Lawrence Township.
There are so many possibilities within this township to be really whoever and whatever you want to be.
This district is never willing to settle. It's always looking for the best fit and the best results. Every student, every day. This is the power of choice. This is our story. This is Lawrence Township.
I want to thank Lawrence Township Schools for all that you've done for both me and my family.
Thank you, Lawrence Township, for being my home and support for over 30 years.
Thank you, Lawrence Township, for writing our story.
Thank you, Lawrence Township Schools, for being my community.
Thank you, Lawrence Township Schools, for making me curious about the world.
Life comes at you fast, so it's important to have some help along the way.
Ah, my favorite patient. Ah, my favorite patient.
When the dust settles, it doesn't always end as anticipated. Embrace the journey and care for the ones around you.
My favorite patient.
For everything else and every stage in between,
my favorite patient.
Methodist Sports Medicine is here for you.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake. Yeah.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got a counter right here. Isn't this where you place the orders?
We sell trophies, we sell plaques, we do embroidery. No food.
You got carry out?
Unlike the internet, everything that you need we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
You know, Jim, I'll be back tomorrow to pick it all up.
We'll wait for you.
Don't wait long.
Parents, do you like free food? Get on over to Prodigy Burger and Bar, where Monday is family night and kids eat free. Every day you can find daily specials featuring craft burgers, tacos, wings, and more. Prodigy is now playing the NFL Sunday Ticket on more than 25 TVs, so you won't miss a second of your favorite teams. Prodigy also caters, hosts private events, as well as dine and donates. Celebrate your school spirit with us at Prodigy Burger and Bar. More than just burgers, located in Clay Terrace in Carmel.
Welcome back to Zionsville West Middle School, where Covenant Christian has a 50-0 lead over the Tindley Tigers here on Indiana SRN. Let's go through some scores from around the state. Right now, Westfield has a 7-3 lead over Hamilton Southeastern. That game is in the fourth quarter. In the third quarter is Lewis Cass and Northwestern. The Kings have a 15-0 lead over the Tigers. Floyd Central is up 24-3 in the third quarter over Jeffersonville. In the third quarter is Warsaw and Northridge. Warsaw up 20-7 over the Raiders of Northridge. Delphi up 14-0 over Tri-Central in the third quarter. At the half, Marion has a 26-0 lead over the Red Devils of Richmond. Here's another score. Southwood, they're up 21-0 over Wabash. That game is at the half. Also, Hamilton Heights, they are tied 6-6 with Western. That game also at halftime, as most of these games look like they are. Speedway 14-7 at the half over Monrovia. Logansport is down 20-0 at the half to the McCutcheon Mavericks. Tipton 20-7 lead at the half over Lafayette Central Catholic. That's a big game. Lafayette Central Catholic, one of the top teams in their class. Danville up 14-7 at the half over Tri-West Hendricks. Western Boone 24-8 halftime lead over North Montgomery, the defending 2A state champs. Northeastern has an 18-0 lead at the half over Union. Centerville was up big, and they still are, over Tri, 42-7. That game is at the half. The Eastern Comets are all over the Carroll Cougars. That's a 46-0 halftime score. Fairview is having their way with Woodland, 55-0 at the half. Brownsburg is all over Fishers. That game is 35-0 halftime score. Here's another game, Zionsville. They are on top of Noblesville, 21-3. That game is in the second quarter. Eastbrook, 49-6, big lead over the Frankton Eagles. That game also in the second quarter. Tell City, all over Springs Valley. That game is 34-0 in the second. Jasper has a 14-0 lead over Mater Dei. West Lafayette up 7-3 in the second quarter over Rensselaer Central. Valparaiso, the 5A runner-up last year, they're down 7-0 to the Chesterton Trojans. That game is in the second quarter. Here's a game called by Indiana SRN. You can watch this game live on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Mount Vernon, the number one team in 4A, is up 28-0 over Delta with 1:20 left to go in the second quarter. Delta ranked 8th in Class 4A. Here's another game you can watch live. Roncalli up 28-0 over Gearin with just under 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter. That game also can be watched live on Indiana SRN. So there is a big-time scoreboard update for you. You can catch these scores as they come on indianasrn.org. Plenty of games that you can look up and check out, and plenty of games that you can watch live right now on indianasrn.org or listen to on indianasrn.org. Check out our YouTube page as well, and Twitter and Facebook to catch live games. We'll be back right after these quick messages. You're watching Covenant Christian Football on Indiana SRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Life comes at you fast, so it's important to have some help along the way.
Ah, my favorite patient. Ah, my favorite patient.
When the dust settles, it doesn't always end as anticipated. Embrace the journey and care for the ones around you.
My favorite patient.
For everything else and every stage in between,
my favorite patient.
Methodist Sports Medicine is here for you.
Catch any Indiana SRN game on our YouTube page. Hit that red button, subscribe to our channel. And make sure that any game you do miss live, it's archived there on our YouTube page. And you can watch the replays as often as you would like. We've got an upcoming schedule here on Indiana SRN a week from tonight. September 25th, Frontier is at North Newton, Mount Vernon at Pendleton Heights, and Traders Point at LaPel High School, and then Phelan at Attucks as well. That game has been canceled a week from tonight. Phelan at Crispus Attucks. We saw that Crispus Attucks team take on Covenant Christian a few weeks ago in what was another big win for the Warriors. And then a game that will be televised. All of those three games that I just mentioned are on radio, but the webcast game, Bloomington South is at Southport as well. And then the big one that we have circled on this Covenant Christian schedule. It's their biggest matchup of the season. They're going to jump up and play Class 2A Heritage Christian. Heritage Christian undefeated and number 2 in Class 2A. That game is televised as well. So Covenant Christian on their way to a 5-0 start out of the gate. Will have their hands full next week against Heritage Christian. And then our third televised game is Cecina against Lutheran, which is a game that has also been canceled. So we've actually had 2 games get canceled. And this is just the world we live in, Keith. Gearing Catholic is going to be at Chittard. That is our third televised game a week from tonight. So we're just about set for second half action. Before we get there, Jared, I want to take a look at some offensive statistics for this high-powered Warriors offense. They've only handed it off to one ball carrier all night long. Gage Coffey has 10 carries on the ground for 99 yards and 3 touchdowns. Came in with 4 touchdowns on the ground this season, 3 in the first 2 quarters of play tonight against the Tindley Tigers. Through the air, Austin Frazier, he started slow. He was just 1 for his first 5, 2 for his first 7. The good news, those 2 completions both went for touchdowns. 60 yards through the air to B.J. Lomax, then 30 yards on a one-play scoring drive to Will Lyons, a junior, on the receiving end of that score. That was Frazier's second touchdown of the night. His third touchdown went 23 yards through the air to Jackson Brew. And then his fourth and final TD in the first half came on that final scoring drive, a 13-yard pass to Adrian Terry. So Frazier, a pedestrian first half, 8 for 14, 4 touchdowns, 180 yards through the air. On the receiving end of those 8 completions for Frazier, the leading receiver, Adrian Terry, he's got 4 catches tonight for 56 yards and a score. 2 of those other 3 catches, in addition to his receiving touchdown, picked up first downs, one of them coming on a 4th and short. So Terry has been a go-to receiver again tonight for Austin Frazier. Then 4 other receivers have caught 1 pass apiece. B.J. Lomax is long 1 for 60 and a touchdown. Will Lyons 1 for 30 and a score. Jackson Brew 1 for 23 and a touchdown. And then Alex Coleman on the receiving end as well, a pass that we saw him juggle and then haul in and pick up 11 yards after the catch. So we've got 8 completions for Frazier, 10 carries for Coffey. Some efficient offense, to say the least, tonight for Covenant Christian. They have had the ball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. They have scored touchdowns on 7 of those drives.
That's quite the way to do it. 9 possessions in one half is almost unheard of. But when you have this type of offense and you have the weapons that Coach Lyons does have for his Warriors, you're going to see Austin Frazier able to spread it out, and he did just that. 4 touchdown receptions, like we mentioned, to 4 different receivers. We knew that coming in, that he was going to be able to spread the ball around because most of these guys listed through, we got Bro, we got Lomax, Terry, and Coleman. All these guys have a decent amount of catches coming into this game, and Terry, the one leading the way as far as touchdowns and yards go. But we had a feeling that Frazier was going to be able to spread the ball around, and he only averaged 12 attempts coming into this game, and he reached that tonight, and his night probably is over. So it's just another one of those nights for him, able to put together a very, very efficient first half, and now he most likely gets to take a break for the second half.
Yeah, we'll see what interim head coach Sean Lyons has in store for this offense. It is homecoming night. So it's the final homecoming for the dozen seniors on this Covenant Christian roster, and you wonder if they'll at least send them out for that first series in the third quarter. Sometimes you see them put the bow on the first half and say, hey, the first half wasn't a fluke. Let's go get one more score and then we'll wrap things up. But maybe the halftime talk was, hey, fellas, you guys did your part. You put up 50 in the first half. Let's get the guys that do not get as much varsity experience, let's get them on the field in what could be some valuable experience down the road.
Right. It's a really a win-win situation because you'll have your younger guys play most of the possessions in the second half. You get them experience under the Friday night lights. You know, you build up their confidence, their ability to run the plays that the first team offense is going to be able to run. And hopefully down the line it'll pay off because when they get older, you know, they'll have those plays memorized. And they'll be able to put together drives and put together halves that the first team did.
So Covenant Christian, who received the ball to start tonight's game, they're going to kick things away here to start the second half. And Jackson Brew with some long kickoffs, 6 for 6 on his PATs. And the one that we thought they finally might miss, well, they ran a fire drill and got the 2-point conversion. So they have converted all of their point-after attempts tonight. And it's a 50-0 halftime lead. So if you've tuned in to Covenant Christian Warriors football this season, this is familiar territory for Covenant Christian. We will have the continuous clock for what will likely be the entire second half. A high kick from Brew is caught and then dropped out to the 10. It rolls across the 10. Antonio Robinson scrambling for his life and is just swarmed by a bunch of Warriors coverage man. That's Tony Flatt who finally brought him to the grass. So the juggle cost Robinson what could have been a bigger return, and instead he had to scramble and pick up the football. By the time he did, the Warriors coverage team was all over him.
Robinson's had a tough night tonight. He's put together some good-looking plays, some quick passes, some runs of his own. But all in all, he hasn't had the support that he's needed. The team as a whole hasn't been able to put together a complete drive. They've had some good-looking plays. Even the first drive and their first set of downs was looking positive, but just not the night tonight for Robinson and the Tigers.
We got Cameron Jennings who takes that snap, a little changing of the guard, as Jennings, the usual halfback for this Tindley offense, was in the quarterback position there, and him and Robinson had switched spots. It's Robinson who is now in the pistol formation behind Jennings in shotgun. So the handoff went to Robinson on first down. No gain, and now second down and long. And now Jennings drops the snap, but it works out in his favor. He's going to pick up a first down and get it all the way out near midfield. And that is a big gain of 25 yards for Cameron Jennings to pick up the third first down of the night for the Tigers.
Well, what a way to think quickly when you're Jennings dropping the snap and you find a hole, you run to it and you burst through, and big-time pickup for him, and new set of downs now for Tindley.
Now you get to open up your playbook a little bit more as well as you're backed up off your own goal line. 2 minutes into the third quarter. Jennings in shotgun, fires a bubble pass out to the left. That ball is caught, but a nice tackle by Gage Coffey, who has done plenty offensively, but showing that he can wrap up defensively as well.
Well, that play took a long time to develop also, and I think if Jennings is able to get that football out of his hands quicker to Catlett's able to pick up a few more yards, maybe even a 5-yard pickup across the 40.
So Jennings in shotgun. Robinson comes up to his left. The handoff is going to go to Robinson, who is just trying to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage. I think he'll get there, but not going to pick up anything there on second down and long. So now 3rd and 10 coming up for the Tindley Tigers. Going back to that bubble pass on 2nd and 10, that's a ball you got to get out there quick, because we saw the zip that Jennings did not put on the football. By the time that receiver, Catlett, was bringing it down, there's a defender on him, Gage Coffey, and he's got no room to run.
Yeah, and plays like that, you just want to catch the football. You don't even want to look for the laces. Just get a good hold on it and try to get it out as quick as possible to your athletes.
So we've got a deep shot downfield there from Jennings to Pinkston, but it comes up short of the intended target. So after a long run of 25 yards on a little scramble drill there by Cameron Jennings, they go 3 and out shortly after, and it's going to be a punt situation for Tindley. A couple of Tigers head off to the far sideline. It's Antonio Robinson in shotgun. Likely to do the punting here. He'll take the snap. It's a low punt. Takes a nice Tigers bounce. Goes out across midfield, and it's going to trickle its way all the way down near the 35-yard line of Covenant Christian.
That's the one thing about these punts from Tindley is they've either been on the negative side of a punt where Adrian Terry is making a good return out of it, or they've had punts that are low-line drives that get good rolls and they set up Covenant back in somewhat decent deep field position. So a little bit of both worlds in the punting world from in the punting game, from Tindley.
Well, that was your don't judge a book by its cover punt. Because off the foot, you thought it might go 10, 15, 20 yards at best, but the roll after the fact for Tindley goes all the way down to Covenant Christian's 35. So that's where Frazier will pick things up for this high-powered Warriors offense. He's in shotgun in the 3-receiver set. Handoff goes up the middle this time, and it's a gain of 3 yards for Brad Nardi. So that's our first ball carrier other than Gage Coffey tonight. Frazier did keep one himself, but in terms of Frazier handing the football off to another running back. So 2nd down and 7 now for Covenant Christian. And we'll see how many more times the Warriors go through the air. With a 50-point lead and continuous clock in motion. Frazier is back to pass this time. Make that Tony Flatt the backup quarterback. So Frazier is on the bench, and Flatt finds an open target. That's his older brother, Trey Flatt, who really threw that right arm out there at the defender, and now we've got a little scrum on the field. Trey Flatt is going to be wrestled away from the scrum as he was fired up. You saw the aggressiveness of that stiff arm come out. So Flatt to Flatt, Tony to Trey. It's a big gain.
Let's start with the pass. Tony Flatt doing a nice job of staying in the pocket and keeping his eyes downfield, waiting for some routes to develop. It looked like Trey was running a crossing pattern. He got it to him, and then you mentioned the hedge he used with his arm. It looked like it was pretty excessive going after the Tindley defender, and it looks like it's going to pay off for Tindley because that ball is brought back to almost the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, so they go from 2nd and 7 to 2nd down and 12. We had a legal formation there on Covenant Christian. So the long pass completion from Tony Flatt to Trey Flatt goes for naught. But you called it, Jarrett. We've got the backups in now. Frazier likely to sit the rest of the night. Get this sophomore quarterback, Tony Flatt, a little bit of offensive experience. He'll hand things off this time to Brad Nardi, who slips a couple of tackles, and now he's headed down the middle of the field, and Nardi's going to go the distance. Well, how about that? Trey Flatt with a big reception. It gets called back because of the penalty. So on a 2nd and 12 from their own 33, Nardi scampers 67 yards downfield. And even the backups for Covenant Christian, they've got some wheels as well.
That's something you can be proud of if you have the second team in and they're still doing work against the first team defense from Tindley. Nice job there by Nardi, taking it down the sideline and then cutting it back towards the middle, made it look super easy en route to the end zone.
Well, Frazier is really getting a breather. I think he's done for this half, as you've got Tony Flatt now as the placeholder as well. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up. Little sidewinder kick by Brew that time, and it sails just wide left. So Brew's first missed PAT of the night. But it's another scoring drive that takes just 2 plays for Covenant Christian. All 70 yards coming on the ground by sophomore running back Brad Nardi. His first touchdown of the night, and Covenant Christian continues to roll. Clock stops at 4:02 here in the third quarter. It's all Warriors, 56-0. You're watching Warriors football powered by Indiana SRN.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group as an intern. I interned for 3 years before going on full-time staff here. What I love most about Morales Group is that big family aspect. I come from a big family in Mexico, and since the company is continuously growing, I feel like there's always a new member of the family that I get to know.
We're willing to give. We're willing to serve others, and we're not expecting something in return.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
Jackson Brew's deep kickoff heads down to the goal line. And we've got a return here out to about the 20-yard line. I think that's Robinson. It is. So a return of 20 yards there, but a 56-0 lead for Covenant Christian. They brought in their backups, and the torch was just passed on from the starters to the second string unit. And Brad Nardi, 70 yards on 2 carries. How about that?
Well, also, let's talk about the Covenant kickoff team. We've mentioned the extra points from Jackson Brew and the leg he has. Well, you watch these kickoffs, and he's kicking the ball all the way to the goal line, sometimes into the end zone, and the coverage team of Covenant Christian is getting down there fast, and they're bringing down the Tindley returner around the 20-yard line. That is a good way to, pin your opponent deep into their own territory to start off a drive.
No gain there on first down to Robinson. Second down and 10. Jennings flips it out. Maybe a double pass situation. It's caught by Pinkston, but he gets wrapped up and driven backwards. Adrian Terry with 4 catches offensively said, yeah, you can catch that, but I am all over you. Great coverage there by the senior man in the Warriors secondary.
Pinkston only had 1 catch coming into this game, and it was a 39-yard touchdown last week at Twin Lakes. And he's had his number called here a couple times in this one, but a few dropped passes, hasn't had very many catches added to his name.
Well, Pinkston caught that one 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and it was almost like he was setting up, looking back across field like he was going to throw it, but he had no time. Terry was all over him. And now a hard tackle there by Alex Coleman as Jennings was in shotgun and just got blindsided, was looking to his left, never looked right, and Coleman drilled him for a sack. That's the second sack of the night for Covenant Christian, and it drops the Tindley offense back inside their own 10-yard line.
12 sacks coming into this game for Covenant, and that one right there, Coleman just came untouched. Nobody from the blind side of Jennings picked him up. And like you said, Jennings, he was looking left all the way, probably waiting for Pinkston to get through a route, and that's a big sack now. It's another 4th and long.
Here's a punt. There's a good kick by Robinson. The punt is dropped by Coffey, and I think Tindley might have caught their first break of the night. They're signaling like they got the football, and they do. So Tindley with the fumble recovery. Gage Coffey was the deep man. He is not the traditional punt returner for Covenant Christian, as B.J. Lomax was getting a breather there. But Coffey dropped the punt, tried to scramble back on it, but it was too little too late as the coverage team for Tindley able to get down there and secure the football.
Well, here's a nice opportunity for Tindley to try to get something going offensively. You have a gift handed to you from Covenant. Now try to put together a little bit of a drive here.
So Jennings is going to keep it himself this time. He calls his own number, goes up the left sideline, gets tripped up by the chain gang, but he does gain about 6 or 7 yards on first down. So positive yardage for Tindley, something we have not seen very much tonight especially on first down. They have some big gains. They get some chunk plays, but then it's been 1 step back, 2 steps back. Or they take 1 step forward and maybe 5 steps back.
Now we might have a timeout call, not sure by who, but it looked like the chains got themselves messed up. They probably thought it was a first down picked up, and they started moving, but we'll see.
Going officials? Oh, we got end of the quarter.
Oh, that's what we got.
got.
There we go. Yeah, we're not paying attention to the time.
We were looking up at the chain like he had tripped over the chain and maybe broken something on the far sideline. But we've got end of quarter number 3. They go by fast when you got that continuous clock. We'll take a timeout. Covenant Christian tacks on one more score on a Brad Nardi 67-yard touchdown. We head to the 4th. It's all Warriors, 56-0. You're watching Covenant Christian Football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Tindley's going to start with the football here, as we are in quarter number 4 now. Continuous clock in effect for the entire second half because it was a 50-0 Covenant Christian lead at halftime. Got Jennings in shotgun. 2 receivers to either side and an up back. Catlett goes in motion. The handoff goes to him on the jet sweep. Able to break a tackle and gets drilled out of bounds on the far sideline. That is Alex Coleman, or make that Coffee. So we've seen Coleman and Coffee lay the boom here in the second half. And boy, if you're going to pick up positive yardage against this Covenant Christian defense, they're going to let you know about it. They're going to make you pay.
Yeah, it's going to come pretty tough. This defense, they've been on their A game all night. And I do like the play call, though, from Tindley. Bring Catlett in motion. We haven't seen any jet sweeps, any sort of motion at all tonight from Tindley until that play. It picks up positive yardage and gets him a first down.
First down and 10 from midfield. Jennings back to pass. He hits his receiver. That's Donovan Gilder, number 7 on the receiving end. So a gain of 5. That gets down to the 45 now of Covenant Christian. This is just I believe the second time tonight we've seen Tindley move it across midfield into Warriors territory.
And we've mentioned throughout the night all the weapons that Covenant Christian has on this offense. Well, I believe Tindley, they have some weapons of their own too, as we see Robinson with the carry, but we haven't seen them, catch the football as much as they probably should. And Donovan Gilder coming into this game had 4 catches. He gets one right there. Haven't called his name at all tonight, but they have the weapons. They have the guys split out wide that can haul in catches from Robinson or Jennings, whoever it may be. They just have to be able to come down with it. They have to catch it before they run, and looks like they have a good little drive going here. They pick up another first down.
So they go from the 45 to the 35 there. Robinson 10 yards on the ground. Was wrestled down by number 24, Jay Wright, senior linebacker for Covenant Christian, and Tindley trying to get rid of the goose egg on the scoreboard. 2 minutes into the 4th quarter right now. Warriors up big on the Tigers. Jennings in shotgun, and the ball never came. Everyone else was moving, so it's going to be a false start against Tindley. But everyone was on the same page except the center in that situation.
Well, there's been too many instances tonight where there's been guys not on the same page, whether it's, Robinson trying to throw it to his receivers. He's thrown it deep, but his guys are 5 yards, 10 yards away from the football, nowhere near. You got to think maybe there's some miscommunication there, and also there's been too many penalties for Tindley.
Jennings in shotgun, a little pass. That ball gets tipped and it's picked off. That ball is intercepted. Trying to get a number here as it gets flipped. I think that's 24. Looking at the left of our screen, I do believe that was Jay Wright. No, that's Jay Wright.
Also could have been Coleman. I think it was Alex Coleman,
was
actually.
Coleman 27?
Yes, I believe it was. Well, how about that? A little bit of look what I found. Ball bounces off one of your guys and ends up in your hands. Well, that's unfortunate, though, for Tindley. Also, probably their best drive of the night so far. They get it over into Covenant territory. A little bit of running game from Jennings, a little bit of passing game also, getting the ball out quickly, and unfortunately ends in another turnover.
So now we've got the third string offense in for Covenant Christian. Not the first time we've seen them this season. But with a big lead here midway through the fourth quarter, why not? Let's get the young kids some experience, and before they take their first offensive snap, Covenant Christian calls a timeout. We're going to take one with them as the Warriors lead the Tindley Tigers tonight. Homecoming night for Covenant Christian at Zionsville Middle School West. 56-0 Covenant Christian. Take a timeout. You're watching Warriors football, powered by Indiana SRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Hello, my name is Sean Kroll, and I've been a part of the Indiana SRN family for the last 9 years. Last year, we streamed a record 326 sporting events around Central Indiana. All the other guys broadcast basketball and football, but we at Indiana SRN also air volleyball, softball, baseball, and even golf. But we need your help. To continue our mission, please help us by contacting Coach at indianasrn.org. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
So freshman Carter Bell is out on the field now to call the plays for this Covenant Christian offense. Third string quarterback behind Austin Frazier and Tony Flatt. Flatt with his passing touchdown tonight. Clock down to 7:30. 3 receivers set. So that Tindley drive stalls out on the Coleman interception. They had benefited from the muffed punt, however, from Gage Coffey, and what turned out to be a big chunk play for them. Then they had 2 more first downs after that, did the Tigers. But on a 1st down and 10 after consecutive first downs, one through the air to Donovan Gilder, and then Robinson with a 10-yard carry to pick up another first down, came the INT. Bell in shotgun, the handoff goes up the middle, and it's a short gain of 1, maybe 2 yards there for the Warriors. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for Covenant Christian. They have had now 5 games this season where they have simply routed their opponent. There has not been much competition on the far sideline or on the opposing sideline for that matter. A lot of continuous clock games for the entire second half. You're seeing starters and seniors head over to their sideline to get some breathers. Now next week, their hands are full with Heritage Christian.
Yeah, and a really tough Heritage Christian team, and they're having their way right now playing Shortridge. That game has gone into a running clock as well. Pretty similar to this game, but last week they played a tough Eastern Hancock team. Both of those squads ranked in the top 10 in 2A. They had their way with them, 56-21, a final score there. Just too much of the Brown kid, the running back. He's just a junior as well. He's just running all over the place right now. Had an impressive season last year, and he's already on pace to have a greater season this year. Max Milton, the quarterback for them, just a really tough offense to stop, and the defense is just as good. So just a really complete team. They've been in the top of 2A for quite some time now, so you can consider them a powerhouse, and it'll be a really tough matchup, but an interesting game to watch. Hopefully I'll be able to catch that one next week, watch a little bit of that, because Covenant Christian's looking great right now, so we'll see what they're really made of when they face Heritage next week.
Trey Flatt with the punt here. It's a high end-over-end kick that bounces at the 36 and dies just inside the 35. They'll down it at the 32-yard line. Does Covenant Christian. So Trey Flatt with a big boot. His first punt of the night. Jackson Brew had a couple. So make that 3 punts tonight for Covenant Christian after they had just 2 all season. Put that into perspective a little bit. This Warriors offense has not had to punt much this year. If you're the Tindley Tigers, maybe that's what you hang your hat on, saying, hey, we forced them to punt it 3 times after they had done that 2 times in their first 4 games.
Yeah, just look at some of the positives. Try not to hang your hat on this game because this is a tough Covenant team. We expected this result coming into this game. We thought maybe Tindley could hang with them early on in the game, come away with some good positive drives, maybe a score. Hopefully we can see a score out of them before this game ends. That's what they're trying to do. But just a really tough Covenant team and a lot of players playing both ways as well.
That carry goes up the middle to Marcus Greathouse for a couple of yards. This Tindley team, taking a look at their schedule, again, they had knocked off Edinburgh 26-20 in week 1. That was back on August 21st. But then shut out by Newcastle 41-0 and a 20-6 loss last week against Twin Lakes. And another pre-snap penalty on Tindley is likely going to back them up some yardage. Next week, a week from tonight, they take on Purdue Poly. And then they got Westdell 2 weeks from now before they wrap up with Heritage Christian and Emmerich Manual to close out their 2020 campaign before we get into sectional play. Handoff goes to Greathouse there. He gets it out across the 30, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage, or he'll be just short of that. Give Greathouse a yard there.
Yeah, not much of a gain on the run by Greathouse, but nice job of using his eyes. He sees this bundled up line of scrimmage where the linemen are. He bounces it towards the left side. He sees a hole that way. He takes it that way. But good pursuit also on the end for Covenant.
Jennings in shotgun, fakes the handoff to Greathouse, rolls right, fires that way, and it's over the target, Donovan Gilder, and it goes incomplete. So a short gain of 1, maybe 2 on first down, but then a similar script as it's been all night for Tindley. They go backwards, and they're forced to punt things away with just about 2.5 minutes left in the final quarter. So week number 5, we're over the halfway point of the 2020 season. Just thankful that we're playing football amid the chaos that we've had to endure here over the last 5 or 6 months. It's a low snap, goes to Robinson, hesitates, now punts it, may have hit one of his own players. It rolls backwards, and that ball just has to be down by Cameron Jennings before a Covenant Christian player went to scoop it up and head the other direction. And that was a little awkward by Robinson as he had caught the snap, but then never really committed to kicking the football away and took 1 step, 2 step. You take 1 or 2 steps too many, especially when you're trying to punt the football away. That usually spells disaster.
Yeah, you don't have much time between snap, grab, and punt if you're Tindley. That's something you're definitely going to want to work on during practice, is figuring out this punting situation and, try to find a decent snapper. They're probably using the original center to snap, but just try to figure that out between him and the punter. Get a good snap to him, and Robinson needs to figure out his steps and be able to get off a decent punt, not take too many steps.
Handoff goes up the middle. Bear hug tackle is going to be short of the original line to gain. We're getting really close to our final play here tonight. Homecoming for Covenant Christian. 3rd string unit now out on the field for the Warriors. Carter Bell, the 3rd string quarterback. But this is a good experience for these younger Warriors as well, just to get out there on the field, Get some of those varsity jitters out. That way when you are an upperclassman, or you start to get some more consistent playing time, as there's a nice carry and a tough tackle there by Cameron Jennings. I don't know if he got him there by the shoulder pads or where that tackle occurred. That looked like Gavin Tindley, who carried that football and got thrown to the grass. Get some high fives and some congratulations from his teammates in what is another big win for Covenant Christian. They knock off Tindley tonight, 56-zip. Jarrett, your quick thoughts.
Well, first for Covenant Christian, just, everything that we've seen on paper coming into this game. We saw that Austin Frazier had a great completion percentage, and he's able to distribute the football out to plenty of his weapons. Jackson Brew, one of them. Brian Lomax, Adrian Terry, Alex Coleman, Gage Coffey, all those guys played a significant role in this win, just made it look too easy, did this Covenant offense. The run game was going well, and Frazier stood in the pocket well and delivered beautifully thrown footballs. And the defense, they stepped up, not allowing a whole lot of running game from Tindley. The passing game was okay from Tindley, especially the short stuff, just too many drop passes. That's something they're going to definitely want to work on is the drop passes and try to work more of that short game throwing, because the long game was not there at all. And Robinson was overthrowing guys, underthrowing guys. Just overall need to work on the passing game if you're the Tindley Tigers. But for Covenant, you get a nice win here. You take care of business, but now you're looking forward to a big matchup next week, and a lot of people are going to have their eyes on that one.
Yes, we will have our eyes on it as well. We will have coverage of it a week from tonight at Heritage Christian. Go the Covenant Christian Warriors. 2 top 5 teams in their respective classes in the Week 5 Sagarin ratings. Covenant Christian number 5 up in Class 2A. Heritage Christian, a powerhouse at that level, coming in at number 2 in Class 2A, only looking up at Andrean up in the northwest corner of the state of Indiana. So again, Covenant Christian gets to 5-0, a 56-0 shutout. That's their second shutout of the season. They've allowed 26 points through 5 games, and we could go on and on about their offense. They score at will. Next week will be a fun one. For my partner Jarrett Lewis, Shane Ryder, Casey Pierce, and Tellion Johnson, our cameraman, we thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight. Next week, the game of the week on Indiana SRN. Covenant Christian 5-0, Heritage Christian 4-0, 6:45 with the pregame show. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff. Signing off from the Indiana SRN studios, Shane Ryder, Jarrett Lewis. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Make sure you shut down everything. Who's that lovely lady? Is that your girl?
My mom.
Really? That's not your mom.
I'm just kidding. Yes.